Good day, January 28th, Presence and Practice, gathering together to be present to this moment, to those who are here now, to those who will watch. It's good to kind of pause and, the whole reason this community exists is almost like this kind of practice where we just pause to be present to ourselves, to our sensations, to God's presence. Um, Today I'll just do a simple grounding or just kind of tuning in. Um, so I always like to do the syncing up together. So if you want to put your hand on your heart, like Sungchin does, or your stomach, just somewhere, just to be connected to your body intentionally. And let's take in 3 deep breaths together. So just breathe in and exhale. Breathe in and exhale. And one last one together. Father, Son, and Spirit, we become aware of our being held by you. And we bring whatever's in our bodies, in our minds. May we notice any part of our body just to be grounded here and now. It could be a sense of relaxation or tension. Shoulders, our back is common areas. Notice maybe we're holding our breath or we're breathing comfortably. And as we find that kind of rhythm of being present, then we can turn our attention to what is in our minds. Maybe relationships or things to do. And just allow and accept. And we do that personally, and we do that in community. Lord, thank you for this just simple, quiet, intentional moment. And we'll end this part with what's our intention for being here today. So we'll breathe in together and exhale together. Thank you.
Good to be with you. I think two things stand out. When he said, maybe you are holding your breath, I wasn't aware that I was holding my breath until he says that. Once he said that, oh, I think I'm holding my breath. that helped me to release it.
Mm.
So I wonder, this is what this community is like.
Mm.
It's not that you don't know that God is with you. It's not that you don't know you have a home to return
Mm.
again and again. But I think just like what John did to me, somebody needs to call that out. Not in a, like he just said it, not, he didn't know that I was holding my breath. He was just naming it. And I just happened to be, oh, so I wasn't called that out necessarily. He didn't do that to me, but somebody says that. And then I got mirrored
Mm.
in such a gentle, loving way because it wasn't about me. He wasn't targeting me.
Mm.
So this community is about, you guys all show up through the wall of wind or different places with this time, but by doing that, oh, oh, that's me. Like then it's so gentle, so subtle, but then I am revealed in a good way. It's like healthy shame, just right dose. So that stood out to me. And then the other one is last Zoom, you used the word acknowledge and accept. This time you maybe without knowing say allow and accept. So I really like that. Like if acknowledging is too much effort
Mm.
sometimes, but then okay, just allow it. All right, you arrive here. I'm gonna at least just, I'm not gonna do anything about it. At least you can, but you can just be here.
Mm.
Allow it and accept. I don't know why that word allow it and accept kind of just have a different nuance for me to, all right, so
Mm.
sometimes I can acknowledge and accept, but sometimes just I'll let that be. Allow and accept
Mm.
really help me. So thank you. Uh,
Mm.
Anybody else? Maybe just only one person
Mhm.
who wanted to share your experience. Uh, would that be helpful for you to put words around it? And sometimes you don't want to do it, then that's totally fine. But sometimes, like me, who wanted to do it, if it can be helpful for you and then blessing for other
Mm.
people, you can do. And I'll wait a little because John always saying I say it, and then I just okay, I guess nobody wants to share,
Mm.
so I'm gonna go with it. So I'm gonna allow a little bit of space
Mm.
in case somebody want to share, and then I'm gonna move to what I prepare. Oh, Nadia.
Appreciate, John, your invitation to set an intention. And so, like for me, today's been such a busy morning, so much multitasking, and I was on another meeting, but also doing other things at the same time. So I
Mm.
think as I was just grounding myself, I think what bubbled up was like enjoy. Being able to enjoy this community because normally I come in with like, I'm going to learn something. I need to learn something. So
Mm.
just today is just to enjoy and be present. So like not a lot of expectation other than just like be here and enjoy this community.
Mm.
Mhm. Thank you.
Mm.
Isn't that if we can enjoy moment by moment, even learning, right? When we, Nadia, I do the same thing,
Mm.
multitasking. I'm in a class on Zoom and I'm doing something else.
Mm.
But when you say that it's a today's intention, but I wanna, that's my vision too. I wanna become a kind of person who can
Mm.
enjoy my ups and downs, all of it. So thank you for the reminder.
Mm.
All right, I'm gonna continue. So we are on this journey of, I titled this, uh, what's that, the slide deck. I had IJ, uh, Emmanuel IJ for presence and practice. And then I noticed that this teaching, I can do it in whatever the time, but I just basically, what's happening in this community is I'm just elongating because we know that this is the community of practice
Mm.
in the hope that we can cultivate the presence of God in us because it's not somewhere out there, it's in us, Christ in us. We need to continue to let that shine, and it takes time. it's not a knowledge and head will activate it when we go slow at the pace of peace and love. And that's it just comes out like bubbling up, like Nadia, you said, just things will bubbling up and then it will just take its form and texture. And then, as I said out loud, the valley in Ezekiel, and then all this dry bone has time to get that the bone becomes with the muscles and the vein and the blood or the skin, and then that becomes a person. It's like there is a part of us, our history of trauma, B, but also A. How it become a person is this kind of just, again, feeding. Just takes time. If it's dry bone, it takes time. There's no way we can run right away. So wherever you are, I want this community is the reminder that you have blessing and permission to go as slow as your system tells you to. And so just really listening. It's not listening to me. Hopefully I'm a voice and presence, just like what John did facilitate. That almost like, oh, when she said that, oh, that is me. It's like the revolution or revealing is like that gentle, and then you just see it. So then we are continuously going on a sift, right? And then there was a 3 entries from a wall of wind. I want to kind of just want to visit and then talking about what's happening. So maybe I'm going to do that first. I'm just pausing. Either I'm going to do the sift example people share first, or teach what I prepare first. So I'm pausing. Originally, I designed it, the example at the end, but there's something in me. Maybe it'll be better for people to hear the example. So first, and then maybe I will backtrack and I kind of support what I was thinking, why I share what I share. Would that be it? How does it sound? You don't know what I'm thinking, but it sounds good. Okay. Before I open my deck, how many people are actually like paying attention or just be curious, even though you didn't practice? Oh yeah, that's something that this week we've been thinking about this shift. Okay, oh darn it, I should have done that. And then it just fleeting away. But I had that thought that, oh yeah, the intention. Can you maybe share like, okay, Nadia, you had that, okay. Oh, Kirsten, you did. Yes, Julie, you did. Anna, you did. Okay. And I bet other people, yes, Diana. So everybody kind of has that. It looks like whether you raise your hand or not, your nonverbal language tells me that everybody somehow engage in that paying attention, whether you're actually writing it down or not. Okay, so let me see. I love to hear your experience, but let me share what I notice in people. Oh, okay, I think it's right here. I think there's another one. Maybe I'll be able to pull that out from just going to the map. Okay, so I didn't, I share it here, assuming that because Marianne shared it on the wall, I just assumed that within the community it'd be okay. So maybe if I really do the confidentiality taking, I should have asked for her permission. So since Marianne is not here, I feel a little conscientious, but since it is all just these people who can only access, just I see that it is there in that thing. So Anna, would you read? This was January 16th. Today is January 28th. So what it is a 12 days ago when I just probably first share my SIFT, and then on the Zoom there was a first SIFT worksheet based upon Anna your example. Remember the one-liner? And then I share SIFT, and then this is Marian's response on the Zoom thing. Okay, can you read that for me?
Yes. I say thank you too for this, John and Sungshin. My question to me is, am I willing to slow down enough to go through SIFT? I feel overwhelmed with too much and too little time, which makes it obvious to me that SIFT is especially important. Set a timer on my clock.
Okay, pause right
okay.
there, pause. Everybody relate to it, right? That's why I wanted to Because, okay, Emmanuel journaling, interacting with God, asking God what He wants us to know. Like, there are many teachers along the way. Give us the handles, right? SIFT is just one of the handle. But I love how Marian saying, okay, so set a timer on my clock. Okay, that's a good idea. You know, guys, by the time I really can utilize a SIFT, man, it's too much, too little time. Obviously, I need to do it, man, but I cannot do it. That's what she's saying, right? Okay, so everybody relate to it. That's why I really love this entry. And then guess what she's doing right there?
She's, do you want me to continue?
Yes, please.
She says, rolling my eyes like my pre-kindergarten boy who says, I don't want to.
Okay, pause. See, that's important. That's what I was hoping to convey to you through interactive gratitude lesson, neighboring. Do you remember the N, neighboring? Pause and just name the neighbor visited you. Yeah. So it's like almost a principle and template that I already shared with you. So this is what she does. She just naming it without saying it, rolling my eyes like a pre-K boy who says, I don't want to. Okay, she just named that. She acknowledged or allowed the visit from a neighbor temporarily, but we don't need to go through her what's that? Oh no, go ahead and I continue reading
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So S, I'm tired. I, sitting in favorite place when peaceful with Molly. F, feeling overwhelmed. T, thought, expect too much of myself. God has realistic expectations of me. What are they for me tonight, tomorrow? This short sift leaves me feeling a calmer spot, my whole body relaxed. I can rest. Thank you, Lopnaus. Oh, Marian, that's amazing.
Isn't that funny? She says she doesn't want to do it. And then like the pre-K comes like rolling his eyes saying, I don't want to. And then she kind of moves into just doing it, just jot down, like not anything fancy, just right there. I can see that she's just doing it right there, not in a journal. Can you see what's happening? So this is what real time it looks like. So just that's the function of sometimes the wallowing, where you can use that space as something like that, what Marian is doing. And she did everything here. She has that intention, but she cannot do it. And then she even named the part that I don't want to do it. And then once she named it, she ended up doing this very short phrases. And then she noticed God has a realistic expectation of her. So that's one example. So then I just very similar pattern. So I'm just learning from people. And then here, let's say, who's there? I'm gonna go, okay. Kirsten, do you think you can read this one? So this is from Katie Smiling. I think she saw it, and then I meant to put Katie's response too, because there is an amplification. That's what's happening in a circle. But this is Jody's SIFT. It was long, so I actually cannot do it. So just maybe Kirsten, where you're going to help me is that worrying became obsessing. Just from there, I want you to read that for me. Okay.
Okay. And worrying became obsessing, a long-time default. So I was only vaguely aware of the growing discomfort.
Hold on right there. That sentence is very important. So we have our default. So something worrisome comes in, and then we become obsessive with it, right? I'm like, oh my God, how did she know me? It feels like that, just like when John said holding breath, and it's like, oh, I do that too. But pay attention to her wording. So I was only vaguely aware of this growing discomfort. Okay, so pause right there, and that's where I'm gonna show you what I prepared today. Okay, and then I'm gonna just maybe backtrack later, but it's very important. have you heard of the concept implicit memory and explicit memory? Okay, I'm gonna just pause right there and then see the people. How many people hear the word implicit memory and explicit memory? Can you raise your hand? Oh, everybody knows it. Okay, then I can just continue. Okay. What's happening here is she only vaguely aware of growing discomfort. Do you think it's an explicit memory or implicit memory talking? Anybody unmute and say? It's a probably she's telling the story, but to me, I can, from this one sentence, I know this growing discomfort. She cannot name it, but just name it as this growing discomfort in her body and in her system. It's like, this is one of my teachers saying, Kirsten, can you read this? Okay, hold on. I again had my, I need to do something. I noticed that. Okay.
Our clients suffer from implicit memory. I call it body memory or emotional memory. Our implicit memories are stimulated by our day-to-day, very normal life experiences. Janina Fisher.
Yes, I think what Jody is describing is very much what she said. That's why in my mind, I wanted to teach today from over here, but then as I sit with you guys, I kind of want to backtrack it. Okay, so you guys all said implicit memory is like she fancily said body memory and emotional memory. Brain science-wise, explicit memory is you can tell when, where, what happened, how you felt. Like you can tell the story in a coherent way. That story in your hippocampus. Implicit memory, on the other hand, that's not where it is filed in. It's a different parts of your brain. And so when implicit memory is pulled forward into your present moment, like what she's saying, you don't, I mean, it didn't say, I think Dan Siegel, that's what I learned. It's like you don't even have a conscious memory that you pull your file, meaning memory from your hippocampus. You don't have that sense of it. It's just something else just pulled forward and you have no idea. But there is that Jody's statement, she kind of has that, there is this observing mind, seeing is something is growing, discomfort is just, that's vaguely, she just kind of, so you can see that she practiced it a lot, you know what I'm talking about? But then, so she had that mind of seeing it. So this is what I saw. This brain-wise, this is where, so I'm going back and forth. Okay, let me pause. Are you following me? Or like, that's how sometimes I process things so that, oh, Seong-Shin, by the way, you were reading Jody's thing, and then with a one sentence, you went to Janina, and then now you're talking about brain. I am having a hard time to follow, or it is fine. Can you give me some feedback on that? Like just turn it on and saying it, okay, I'd rather have you tell me all the story of Jody first, and then go back to teaching, or I am following you. Can you give me some feedback? Well, you need to do it unmute because I cannot see everybody.
I'm following you.
You are following me. Thank you. Okay, maybe those people who don't follow, can you say it?
Yeah, I'm following.
Well,
Yes,
you are following too? Okay,
I'm
you know,
following.
okay, everybody seem to follow and it's not so disorienting. Okay, perfect. Okay, then I will continue. Okay. So this is a very simple model of, you guys know that there is the outer bark, your cortex of your brain, right? And then there's your limbic system, and then the deeper part of it, brain stem. Those languages, are you familiar with it or not? Okay, are you very familiar with it? Okay. And then, so then once you see like that, and then this is, I'm just backtracking my teaching. So Janina thing was right there in my thought process, more later part of it. So now just, I want you to take a quick look of this like egg shape. There's outer cortex, you watch me, the hard part of it. This is the cortex, okay? And then inside of your hard cortex, there's a limbic system, and then there's a deeper part of your brain called brain stem. Can you see this egg? Okay. And now I'm gonna go over here with this guy. That was my today's slide that begins with this guy, Dan Siegel. And then I gonna put this video by Dan Siegel, maybe 8 or 9 minutes. So you are hearing the original guy who's explaining this hand model of the brain. Okay, so you don't need to hear it from me. You can directly access Dan Siegel's explanation of this, the egg shape that I just drew that over there. Are you following me? Okay, so we are not gonna watch Dan Siegel. You can study it on your own. But here I am. So we quickly, so why this thing? And then this guy, Dan Siegel, talking about this brain thing with hand. Okay, so okay, hold on. Now this part is very fun. So I'm gonna turn it off. How many people know this hand model of the brain? Probably everybody. Hiroko, Kirsten, okay, Nadia, John. I mean, not John. And but some people don't. Okay. So, but I want you to study on your own, directly accessing Dan Siegel. But let me quickly go over for the sake of why SIFT. Okay. And then how we are going to use this. So there's a knowledge based in brain science. That's why I'm saying, but sometimes when, okay, when I study, I just like so going over this, so fun. But like, right? Hiroko is like, oh, so fun. So I want to go after like learning everything of it. But then once you learn everything, not everything, I cannot even learn everything, like even go near it. But then what I care about practice, so that I can cultivate the presence of God in me, right? So that this is helpful, just information. So please forgive me. I'm not explaining it fully or thoroughly. So just quick handle, trusting that you will study more. So take your hand out and then you fold your thumb and then put your, the 4 fingers, like close it. And then you orient your hand to your next, your brain. This is Dan Siegel called, this is the hand model of your brain. So this fingers and then all this hand outer is the cortex. You hear my sound, this is the cortex. So these 4 fingers right here is like your forehead. Can you see this, the model of it, like this? Yeah, that's what he's saying. And so the 4 knuckles of your finger, you hear the word prefrontal cortex. Yeah, so the cortex is the part side of this thing, and the pre is the front, is the front side of it, pre even the before. So that's what prefrontal cortex. And then you lift your fingers up. There's a thumb. And Dan Siegel will say it should be both left and right brain, so it should be both. But then he's saying that you cannot do it. So it's like you imagine that there's all the way right there. They're called limbic system. And that's where you hear a lot. You are going to hear more about it, the function of it. That's where people talking about like emotions or fight, flight, like all these things that you are talking about. But you are going to hear more about it from Dan Siegel. Actually, much more primitive, this like impulse-like is actually on the palm of your hand. It's called brainstem. This regulates your heartbeat, digestion, your breathing, something that you don't think about it, your body just does it. Does it make sense? So this brainstem and limbic system working together, generating and creating the emotions that you are talking about. So then when we are fight, flight, obviously we are angry and afraid, those things, it's like, so there's some teachers are saying it's a downstairs brain, and then this thing is an upstairs brain. So like for the kids, it's easier to describe. So this is what's happening, right? And then there is the like kind of fingernail, 3rd and 4th. And then when you look at that, it's like that area, medial prefrontal cortex. Again, okay, it doesn't matter. But anyway, there's things like that. So basically, it's the middle part of even prefrontal cortex. You call it, this part particularly, help integration process. Why? Even anatomically, when you look at your hand, this fingernail part, very front side of it, not only this is part of the prefrontal cortex, but it touches the limbic system, it touches the brain stem. So when you develop the side of a particular your brain part, they are saying that you can connect all different parts of your brain together. It's like a harmonious chorus. So obviously you want that kind of state. Okay, whoa, that's mouthful. And then I try to make it small, and then I'm not even sure that I do the justice, but that's why I'm saying it. Don't worry about it if you don't get it. At your own time, you can listen to Dan Siegel. When you go to YouTube, there are many other teachers who can explain it easier. Are you following me? So don't worry, like shake it off. Like, what just did say? So that's it. That's it. And then what he's saying is, when you flip your lid, there's an English term like that. You flip your lid means actually your prefrontal cortex is not engaged. Rather, downstairs brain, limbic system, and brainstem coordinate together, just very much as your survival state will be created. So our job is to have this top brain closed. So it's so fun to hear those things. And I remember when John and I were fighting, and then I think when my kids are really little, I think many grandparents here in this circle ask for other people, because there are some people like therapists and they already talking about flip your lid. And then I remember other members say, where did I get that? I want to share with my children. So me and John learn about these things even before we had Zachariah. So like 19 years ago, most 20 years ago. So then when our kids were growing younger, very before even kindergarten years, we are teaching them about this. It's like more like this is a human brain. This is how God created. If it is like that, you are animal brain and all this thing. And then now John and I are fighting. And then Zoe entered between me and John, look at me straight and say, Mom, your brain is like this. So she's telling me, your brain is like this. So you better do it like this.
Thank you, Zoe.
Thank you, Zoe. Okay, so go like this. And then another time, Zoe is telling me, Mom, my brain is gonna be like, she goes, all her like in a muscle, like my brain is gonna be like this. Meaning, please calm down, change your voice. You are overwhelming me. So I remember these two stories from Zoe. Okay, so this kind of knowledge is share the language is really helpful. Okay, so now why it has to do with SIFT? Any idea? Any feedback? Why do you think that we are learning about this 10 model of the brain when we are talking about SIFT? What's the connection? What's your guess? Maybe you
think
go ahead, Julie.
I think SIFT gives opportunity to take a knee, to stop for a moment, and then re-engage.
Yes.
And not only to like click back in, but to allow the interactive. I like what you said, a harmonious functioning. It brings back a harmony, because thoughts are going on at the same time as your feelings, as your physical body responses. And so it brings it together.
That's right. So then going back, I'm gonna put the Jody's slide back up, Kirsten. But why is this? I will tell you what's happening. In order for you to bring this thing like this, there should be somebody else who observe your brain, and see that brain is like about to this. Do you see what I'm talking about? Who's seeing this? who recognize it is like this? Who recognize like this? And then who recognize like this? Who recognize it? We can call it in our field, us, a circle. Those who believe in God, that we can call it the God spirit, or the one who is aligned with the spirit, or only the brain science just physically only believe that they think that the medial prefrontal cortex is the one. The one. So like there's a debate. We have soul, or the sheer science say that we don't necessarily believe in soul. So whatever that we say, at least bottom line, somebody needs to observe your brain going, or like, or somebody needs to observe it. In Jody's thing, you can see that somebody is observing. Why? There is a growing discomfort. Who's that? Somebody observing her. Are you following what I'm saying? Yeah, Janina Fisher called noticing self, noticing brain. Actually, noticing brain and thinking brain are two different. So we don't need to say, but anyway, the observing and noticing is that important. Okay. And then Julie, what you are saying is why naming? Once you notice it, without that, actually, it's really hard. So we are developing this noticing brain together, observing brain. Okay. Once that's done, take a knee and then naming body sensation. Which part do you think that I am touching when I naming body sensation and impulse? This or this or this? Any guess? Yes, Katie, this is what I would do. This is what I'm imagining. So please do that throughout this week. If that's helpful, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. Don't use a word. That's why we do this. That's why we do this. That's why we do this. That's why we look around. That's why we do this. That's why we sigh. Why? I'm doing this. I'm holding this part of me. Yeah? So it's not only naming it. As you name it, that's what you do. You are restoring a sense of safety of that part of your brain. And then parts of us are stuck here. And then when you name emotion, what do you think that we are stroking and hugging and holding? What's your guess? Yeah, here, yeah, Barbara, here and here together. Yes, both. But then it's more the physical part of it is this, right? The breathing and then moving my neck and orienting myself. Like I say, hugging yourself, all this thing here, and then emotion that are tuning. Yes, I know. You were so scared, huh? Yes, scare, worry. Even like, oh yeah, that was disgusting. All this thing is this. So I would phrase it this: held in my body, held in my emotion. When we do that, that's where like this, many of us adults feel so stuck that why can I live my life out of purpose or with purpose? I feel stuck. Why I cannot live with vitality? Why? Because this is where almost you are held in purpose. So now your dream, and then somebody teach you how to do it. But then if that part, the bottom part is not held, you cannot execute that. So that's why I like the other way, the other hand holding this. This is to me, it's God's presence and the community. Just holding it. So literally sometimes I'm just doing my hands. I'm using my hands, maybe not sifting, I'm doing this. And then there's a lot of science behind it, what I'm just doing this thing. Okay, just pause, okay? Is it helpful? Is it helpful? So that's why we are doing SIF. So then you notice that I go so extremely slow, and then kind of just each week that I show up and teaching you and naming you why it's working, instead of telling you just do this. So then you kind of have a different sense of motivation and desire to engage. Even like that, I can see that Joanne is like that. Even like doing this is no more just doing this without thinking. When I do this, like, oh, I'm just really like really calming my body, my brain stem, my limbic system. Okay, so let me go 5 more minutes. So then I'm gonna go back to Jody's thing, okay? Okay. Okay, so now you got oriented, and then I'm go back to Jody's sharing. Okay, Kirsten, can you come back and then do that, read that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were getting ready in the hotel room, I stopped in my tracks. Wait a minute, I don't like this. I don't have to feel like this. And feel like what, Jody? Name it, once and for all.
It totally like I felt like it's me too, like right in somebody like, okay, name it, okay, name it once and for all, do it one time, see and just take care of it, like so funny. And then just okay, can you continue reading it, Kirsten? Yeah.
As I paused, sat still, and admitted I'd strayed from home, the feelings bubbled up. I was embarrassed to be grappling with such things like a teenager. Surely most people have outgrown this stuff. But I spoke aloud what I'd been feeling, and as I sat with my hands on my heart, noticed the tensions that had gathered begin to drain.
Oh,
Father's voice emerged with truth I know yet hadn't been able to apply to this family of feelings. I got to experience a sweet, genuine return home. And the rest of this evening trip shifted significantly. Acknowledging these things to myself is hard enough, but having a safe place to share with others where it will be seen as growth and victory is truly a gift. It's diminished the sting and shadow of my shame. I am so grateful.
Oh my gosh, so good, right, Kirsten? That's what we learned there. You can see what she's talking about here with the lens of this knowledge that we just went over. So, okay, the knowledge and then the application, our life don't need to be separated, right? So once you know it, that's once you the practice is so simple, but you can see why she was able to do it. And then she is also just like Marian. Feel like what, Jody? Name it once and for all. And then Marian's this pre-K boy. I don't want to do it. It's the same pattern. And then the beautiful thing about this, both of them, is actually I was supposed to put the Unes thing as well, that she was applying it, the drawing one. And then that also, it has its own teaching, just so beautiful, eloquently done. And but then I think this today, I'm going to just stay with this both. And then both of them named the other part, saying it, feel like what, Jody? Or like, I don't want to do it. It's like that. So once both of them named it without shame, just like almost in this community, we don't need to hide it, but name it, but then move on to the next. What was my intention? I'm supposed to do this, sift. And then both of them had this bubbling of this God's nature. It was there. God's presence is always there. Home is always here, Kirsten. Like you said, it's not like I gotta go. It's here. And then our eyes are open to see. See, that's what we need to taste little by little. So this one is from here. The earlier I showed that, the brain thing, right? Okay. So in our community, we use a lot of this word John specifically loved that passage, God holds it all. So we are held in God's presence or held by God. So when we are like, okay, what, Jody, name it once and for all, like this, like very whatever, but even that part is held with God, right? It's not only the like, oh, nice part of me is held, welcome, all is welcome. So you can see why I use this held in your body, right? And then this part, when the big emotions comes, God holds your emotions. Your emotion is held by God. And then your purpose and dream, the vitality, the love, the vision of your life that you want to live, that is also held by God, and God will help you. When you are in pink, you need a co-regulating presence. Basically, you need to have a restored sense of safety. When you are experiencing big emotions, you need emotional containment through attunement. And you really need a sense of support from people and God. And then lastly, the top part of our brain, you need the guidance. Somebody, because you and I are called to co-create this life with God and the model house, model home on earth. So we need actually direct, where can I go, like a template, examples, so that we can expand our life. So that's why I'm going to pause right here. That's why we keep practicing SIFT without just adding more. Like, I want you to know why we do what we do. So I'm going to pause here. And then I was thinking of like, oh, because I continuously the limbic part, like one that who's always running fast, wanting to go all the way, give one more. I want to, as if I teach you one more information, as if they will help you. And then if I become a helpful person, that's why I'm worthy to be chosen or loved. So like I am continuously like recognizing that part of me. So I was thinking, oh, how can I just have people to share, ask questions, reflect with me together? Because I know that that's how you will grow. So I'm pausing right here. It's a good time. We have 7 minutes. And if you have any questions on the things that I share, any reflection and insight, what's helpful to you? What do you want to know more about? Because I gather those things as I actually engage in the circle, because I can see that we kind of just slow it down on that. So I think everybody needs to find their own rhythm again. So I just like notice that again, I just allow it to be there and then wait a little. And then maybe as time goes by, maybe John and I need to do maybe also something, naming it and then discuss it together. But at this point, it's a January. I just want to leave it as it is and see people whether they find their own rhythm to get back in. So anyway, that's what's happening. So I continuously scan and know, and then kind of just share what I think it'll be helpful for you guys and me. Okay, that's about enough of me. So now it's your turn to share.
It was really helpful for me to when you went through examples. It reminded me of like classroom lectures when you read like the book and then the teacher kind of uses that same example and goes over it and you're like, oh, that's so fun. Because I mean, I probably read it, but then when you were going over it, adding layers to all of the things that you taught us, it made everything come alive a lot more. And then I could imagine like exactly what part of my hand slash brain was working. It was very helpful. I felt like it gave color and life to the posts. Like, I don't know if I would have read Marion's or Jody's posts like that, but I was like, oh my gosh, it's like it's alive. So for me, it was like the Ezekiel, like it gave the structure like life. And so I think it's gonna stay with me a lot better. And it's, I know the hand model, I've listened to it before, I've seen Janina's slides and things, but putting it all together, I'm like, oh, it's alive in my mind now, even more so. So actually, I am grateful. So I think it gives me more motivation to sift again, because then I'd be like, oh, just like the hand model, how you taught me before, actually, to hold on to my own hand. Yes, that I'm holding my phones. I can't show you, but that brings much more meaning. And
Yes,
so
yes,
I think I feel held in all of this information.
yes, yes.
And it, like, even at the end, the pink, held in my body, held in my emotions, held in my purpose. Yeah, it brings it all together, and it gives it life. So I really liked it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think what Anna is referring to is I had another teaching, so next week, just preview, but I'm gonna definitely name the relational dynamic. When your spouse brain is like your child's brain like that. What's happening right here? What do I do? See, that's where the shift is most important. If it's like this, the other person is like that. See, that's why relational dynamic is so difficult. And what's happening is when I'm like this, you want somebody else to come and, oh, my mother, oh, of course, honey, oh, you want to be like that. But what needs to happen is, of course, that is mutually, that's what we want. I'm not saying we are designed to be like that. But in the meantime, when that is not happening, you have the other hand. You have the other hand. Let's not forget that. Of course, we want to be able to do this together, right? With the other person's hand and bosom and all this thing. But you have the other hand in the meantime. And that's that important. And as a therapist, I hear always, oh, my spouse or so and so is not doing it. Blah, 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 blah. Even couple, they like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, guys, I am a leader of my own thoughts and feelings and then dreams, and I am God, and we have to have a sense that I am called to be a leader of my own thoughts and feelings and desires first. Okay, so that's what Anna is referring to. Anybody else before we go? If it's not, oh yeah, Diana, and then you can write it as you go, and then okay, Joanne. All right, go on, Diana first.
Well, I have a question. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, can you speak a little loud? I can hear, but I just want to make sure.
My voice is
Oh, good. It's good. It's good. Yeah.
okay. When you were talking about the growing in the SIFT, growing awareness of feelings, it sounded like you were almost going to say it, but you didn't actually say it. I think you were talking about psychology versus, the way we view this from faith, that the feelings are not recognized and we need someone to notice. Sounded like you were going to say it's God noticing, God informing us what these feelings were. Was that what you were saying? That he was the one noticing?
No, I don't. Oh, yes, in that sense, interactive return, I believe that God lives in my body. Even God lives in here in my brain stem. It's not that he's only here. He's here, he's here, he's here, he's everywhere. So when you say it is God informing me, I agree. God is calling the whistle. Remember last session? Yeah. So God calling, but then it is a human participation I need to recognize as well. There is a God give us a will and choice. It's not like that God just comes, notice it like, oh, my baby girl, some shame. Yes, we want that. We want that so bad. But that it happened mystically or mysteriously, like we can count it. I have those moments in my life. I'm sure we all have it, but that's not every moment of occurrence. He gave us a choice or this capacity to actually notice. But I would say, I believe, I don't know about other teachers, I think God in me blowing a whistle. That's how I poetically, whistle means your body sensation, your emotions, and all these things. But you learn to how to name those things. It's our responsibility. So your question helps me to understand. Katie's, you guys go ahead and have a time and go to read Jody again, and then Katie's reflection back. And I love actually, trust me, I learned tons when I say, I'm not just saying it. When I go and reading people's example, and then people respond, and then in that space, I learned like way more. So the Katie's saying, okay, we learned that, oh, I'm angry, I'm anxious. That's a naming it, right, Diana? But then Katie pointed out something very good over there. She said, Katie saying, you know what, sometimes I do sift, like what Diana said, Marian said, it's so overwhelming. Like, I don't know where to begin. Okay, what are the thoughts? Okay, what are the emotion? Is it anger or worry? Blah, 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 blah. But then Jody saying it's a vague growing discomfort. And also she said, oh, stopped it. And she said, oh, I don't like it. She just said, I don't like it. And then Katie amplified that, saying it, and it's so helpful to me, Jody, because sometimes what's my emotion? What's this? But initially, you got to learn like that, though. Trust me. It's like a timetable. You got to learn those things. That's how she got there. Before, otherwise, this, I don't like it. They don't even notice it as a whistle. But now she said, oh, I don't like it. And just, wow, I don't like it. Then I can do something about it. Like, it's already there. So then Katie say, maybe you don't need to sift. Maybe that's a good handle. When you feel like, oh, something is off. I don't like this. There could be something else. That longing. All those things are whistle of Christ in me. Then all I need to do is just take a knee. That's all. And then just choose one and then go with it. Just like Eunice, read Eunice. She just draw it. If it's, and then as she's drawing it, even before she invited God, she just realized, oh my gosh, God has been present here before even I try to look for it. So that's what's happening. Is that, did I answer your question? Perfect. Thank you. So Joanne, and then we'll go because I know we begin at 5. So then it's like, okay, Joanne, go ahead.
Yeah, just so briefly, I feel like the terminology that we've been learning for many, many years around all of these topics, it's like you're putting flesh to them somehow. And it's like, I feel my body, like I could feel my body getting, my heart rate was increasing, like I'm leaning in. I feel like what's happening to me now is rather than being taught, I'm catching it. It's like I'm getting it. It's like it's sort of rolling around in there, and I'm very excited. One of the thoughts I had when you were sharing was the level 1 and 2 pain that Dr. Wilder talks about. Would that be part of the pink area in the diagram?
Yes. Yes, it is a level 1 and 2. There's when you study brain science, different teachers even naming a different structure differently. So it's like if you get in the details of it, yes, but then it's that he's talking about this lower part of it, 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is like some people saying it here, yeah, just lower part of your brain. That's
That's huge
wonderful.
for me right there. That just feel like my brain's just like, wow, that's so awesome.
That's right. That's right. Okay. It was so good being with you. And thank you for creating this space for all of us can learn and grow and then just amplify our joy and peace together. So thank you guys. That you can unmute and say
Yep, good to
goodbye.
see everyone.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye,
everyone.
Julie.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
Bye, Katie. Bye, Barbara. Bye, Anna.
Bye.
Bye, Diana. Bye, Kirsten. Bye.